Hi, I'm Glenn Haddam, and I'm a breakthrough health and life coach. I've been helping men and women for the last 3 decades get unstuck, get empowered, and transform their minds and bodies, their business, their health, their relationships, and live more purposeful and fulfilling lives. I'm here to help you. Clients come to me all the time wanting me to fix their problems, to motivate them. And what actually happens is I help them get to the root cause of what's happening. We look at what's going on between their ears. And what we do is we make the seemingly impossible possible. The way we do that is we get after the dialogue that, again, is between the ears. And my job as a coach is to love up on that person where there may be a little bit hypercritical about themselves and what's going on in their life, the situation that they're up against, and then breathe life into some possibilities that are going to be a bit edgy and challenging. And they're going to have to face their fears and overcome those fears. And my job as a coach is to say, let's go for it. I got you. You're going through life and you've got a lot on your plate. I'm not here to throw another lengthy modular course or program on your plate for you to do in addition to everything that's feeling overwhelming. I'm here to provide you a customized structure, a plug and play format from which to plug in your life, the areas where you're stuck, the areas where you want to feel more empowered, and help you transform these areas by providing you the right level of guidance and support, the motivation or inspiration that you're needing, but you're not being shoved another thing on top of a full plate.
I think your website was great, and it just, I don't know, kind of spoke to me just about changing habits and just kind of meeting you wherever. And you also have a bit on your website about families, which I really loved. Yeah, and then really what it came down to was your consultation. Like, you had like a complimentary meet you and talk, and you spent a good amount of time with me. And immediately from there, I felt like we had a great connection, and I felt like a spark.
Often I get one spouse coming to me saying, hey, I need help with a particular area in my life that's not at the high level I know it can be. Whether that, a good example would be, I'm overweight and I see myself as this skinny version of myself, but yet I'm in this covering. And actually that may have to do with areas where I'm not living purposefully enough in my business. My business is making money, but I don't feel like I'm living my calling, my highest truth. I'm not excited about it. It's good enough and it works. And that good enough and just works for long enough in one's life has a compounding effect where it starts to erode one's happiness, one's fulfillment, and the other areas of your life. So try to think of your life as a stool, and you've got these 3 legs. You've got your business, your health, and your relationships. You pull one of those legs out, the whole thing is coming down. And so all these 3 pieces here, when I look at one's life, when you think of like hiring a life coach or someone to work with you, they intersect at this point. And there's this piece inside that where everything intersects, and it's inside of us. And it's one's own self-mastery, the daily practice of discovering, what is this life about? Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? How can I be joyous? How can I feel fulfilled? How can I have a positive impact on the people that I interact with on a regular basis? Not just my family, but everyone I come in contact with, that I'm speaking my truth, one's purpose.
Basically, we're just stuck in some bad habits, maybe some routines that weren't optimal for us, and we knew we were stuck. And I think getting the inspiration and motivation to make some changes, even simple things, and someone that kind of helped us with maybe a little bit of accountability, that was doing check-ins. I think that's what we really needed at that point.
And we were, heavily quarantining during COVID for a couple of years because of my youngest son is immunosensitive. So, we really had sort of gotten into a rut, and maybe weren't really, very involved with the outside world and not really sure what to do with ourselves sort of coming out of COVID. I guess I came across you on Facebook, and I was just like, I think hiring a coach was not ordinarily something I would be willing to do. And I just realized that, reaching out might be the best thing at that point. So I found myself in the position where I decided to go ahead and ask for help when I'm ordinarily not the person that would ask for any sort of assistance.
Regarding being in the corner alone because I'm relocated to a new place and not having that friend support system that I've had for a long period of time. What motivates you, which they come up with creative things to do, plan trips, whether that's an afternoon excursion or a 10-day surf trip. Having you here and having that connection is that support that I lost in this time of transition and assimilating in a new environment, which has a lot of the same things that I've done. It's not that I'm learning new things. It's just that I need that coach. I need that guy in my corner to motivate me, to coach me up, to keep me on task, and to plan and to come up with these ideas that I have in my head and have a support system, as you said, a guy in the corner. You're that guy.
Sense that you have a true calling and as well as a native gift for working with others. I don't think one comes to this work really and it is able to offer something authentic and substantive if it hasn't been a calling from the heart, a true soul's calling. And it's been my impression that you've been initiated through your own experiences to come into the work. And there's a sense of authenticity that's something that can't be learned in books. I mean, certainly there's the curriculum that one goes through and the certifications, but it's the life that's lived and brought to the client relationships that makes such a provocative difference in your work. I think about this in a few ways. One is that you really cannot give someone anything, or often, maybe is a better word, anything that you yourself haven't lived through deeply. And I would footnote that or highlight it with making one's own experiences conscious. So it's one thing to go through the suffering or the traumas. It's another thing to actually use those as a portal into developing wisdom and insight.
What I'm most passionate about is figuring out what I'm most afraid of and facing those fears, figuring out a way to overcome those obstacles where in the past in my life and what I witnessed with a lot of folks is we come up against that fear arises and we say, maybe it's not for me. Maybe it's not this time right now. The hesitation comes up and what these days lights me up, what I'm most passionate about is overriding that hesitation. Yes, there's a time and place to pay attention to that and listen because there's the internal wisdom, but sometimes we've got to override that pattern that's been in play for quite some time. So for me, overcoming those fears, overcoming those obstacles requires a level of commitment. That commitment that I'm going to figure out a way to solve these challenges that are coming up as soon as I decided to play the game of, I want to expand my capacity. I want to expand my comfort zone.